Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Science of Soul podcast. On this episode, we've got our good friend Mikhail Bablumir again, and we are talking about nutrition, dieting, and working out. As usual, with our special guest who's a little bit controversial, there's a bit of explicit content. But yeah, enjoy and please share, and peace out.
Nasty tissue. This banana pie is just epic.
It's nice in like small, sips. That's why it's enjoyable.
I think I just enjoy the banana pie.
All right, boys, we're rolling. What's good?
Well, go on, bruv.
So what are we doing on dieting then?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it dieting and
Let's do workout and dieting because I work out, don't diet. But this,
well, actually,
Diet.
let's,
Lump of lard.
diet basically means what you eat, right?
Yes,
yeah,
that's
let's-
what. This
You're
is,
not on a specific regime, but you eat.
This
But
is why
his-
me and him had this same
yeah,
argument. the
his
other day.
definition of diet is being on a regime. I would say diet is lifestyle change,
No,
which
no, no, no.
means that eat.
I say
Unless-
diet is change of eating habits. Your eating habits. You manipulate.
Oh, so you agree with what I've been saying all this time? Like stop snacking, stop having 4 packs of crisps.
That's my diet. Yeah. I mean, that's my current diet right now. Yeah.
Okay. So we
Yeah,
we
so-
get each other's definitions now. So yeah, what do you guys want to say about it? Like, okay, what is your current meal plan? Even though it's not planned.
Okay, that was such a simple question, but in my head is like, oh, that's so hard.
Yeah. What do you eat on a regular basis?
I eat rice.
I was gonna just
and
say
curry.
What you can say, Pablo?
What were you
just
gonna
shit.
say? No, actually, you hold on a second. You eat crap. You eat like crisps and, crisps and
Chocolate.
crisps.
Horizontally.
Yeah, horizontally. So no one,
I
and
remember
get-
once, I came over to your house, and you were on your laptop in your boxes, and on your chest was packets of crisps and chocolate bars, like the empty wrappers.
How long ago was this?
You didn't even have the energy to like remove them off your body. No, this is a long time. This is like I'm talking about 15 years
He's
ago.
still like that.
Nothing's
15
changed.
years later.
Really?
He's got 2 children and a wife.
I bet you're much stricter on the upbringing of your children than how you live your own life.
He's,
I agree.
he called me a hypocrite.
I'm
He's
like,
the
I'm
biggest
sick.
hypocrite here.
Okay, how am I a hypocrite? Go on. You're calling someone a hypocrite. What's your reason for it?
Oh my God, he's getting like bare.
Go on.
Yeah, same thing. That
What-
you
what
will,
same thing?
You
Go on.
will tell your children, hey, no Chris.
They're my children though.
No Chris.
They're my
Give it to
children.
me. Give it to me. And then you're like in the toilet, eating the crisp.
Yes, sir.
That's a hypocrite.
How's that a hypocrite?
Because you need to be the Jedi Master. You need to set an example for your children. Instead, you're just commanding them.
They're my children.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't command them.
Yeah, they come out of my ball sack,
oh
so I
my
do
God.
command them.
Okay, Abdi, what do you eat? What's your rice?
Oh
You
my
said.
God. I think. Hold on. I need to like
No,
reconfigure my brain cells right
let's
now.
not go down that rabbit hole.
No,
okay?
I'm just saying I need to reconfigure my brain cells right now after the atrociousness that has come from Babalu's mouth.
I actually spoke a scientific fact there, so I don't know what is so atrocious about that.
Actually, that's true. Actually. Whoa.
Yeah, go on. What do you eat?
So my main
What
diet
he
is,
eats.
as Bengali, rice and curry,
Okay.
which I think is quite healthy actually because it's
Yeah.
got carbs, it's got proteins, and it's full of spices like cardamom, turmeric,
Cumin,
cumin,
curcumin, all that stuff.
all this stuff, black seeds sometimes, pepper, all these stuff which have antioxidants. Turmeric is heavily saturated with antioxidants and micronutrients as well in it. So I think it's relatively healthy. So that is my
Okay, so when you say, so he asked you, what do you eat? You just gave just one curry. What do you
Curry
eat
and rice.
within 7 days? What's your average
Yeah,
day looking
day-
like?
yeah, day to day,
Yeah,
and-
not just your chicken curry.
that is
You are not eating that breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
well. Okay, fine. If I were to give you a rundown, I'll have to-
Let's use this. What did you do last week? Break down your last week.
I can't break down because I can't even remember it.
Or do one day. Do Yesterday.
okay,
yesterday.
fine.
Can you do yesterday?
No, I can't do yesterday. I'll do a working day. I'll do a working day, right? In the morning, I'll have.
Was it bad yesterday?
He's gonna give his best day.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Yesterday
Go on then,
was
go on.
bad. I had Mr. Cod's yesterday.
Oh damn.
I'll have in the morning. I'll have cereal, and it'll be baby cereal because
What's
nothing
baby
else.
cereal?
Like Cocoa Pops.
Oh, okay. Children.
Fortified.
or
Vitamins.
exactly, or Frosties, because there's nothing else I can eat. I have problem eating in the morning.
Okay.
Like I'll have a gagging. I'll start gagging, or
Yeah,
it
yeah.
needs to be
Me
something
too.
that is very easily taken down. I don't need to chew it much. In fact, I warm up the milk so it becomes more soggy.
I love that. I do it as well.
So look at Jubair. He hates warm milk. He's just about
Yeah,
to
it's making me sick.
vomit in
Thinking
his
about
mouth.
it. But go on, yes.
So that is how I'll start my day, and I'll try to keep drink enough water. So until lunchtime, I'll try to consume about 1 liter of water, probably more than that. When I'm at work, and then I'll have something at work. So recently it's just been a tuna baguette, tuna and cucumber baguette. That is what I will have with water, and then I'll come back and I'll have rice and curry after work.
What time is it? Like 5:30.
So this is about 5:30ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my third meal, and then I'll have a fourth meal as well, and which will consist of rice and curry. And
So 2 rice and curries after you get home.
yeah.
Okay.
And if I'm not eating that, I'll just have junk, something junk.
Like from outside or whatever.
Yeah. And it's not like a little bit junk. It's like heavily junk, like kebab, or burger, or fried chicken, stuff like that. Which that's one thing that I will change from my life is that junk, but it tastes so damn good, and it fills you up.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the best thing to eat just before you go to sleep.
Sleep and that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's and it's not a diet or anything like that. It's just
This is just how you're choosing to live.
yeah. But in certain days I might not have it because I'm training now. Start increasing my calorie intake.
Okay.
And this is why I'll be eating that much.
Are you training in Babylon at the moment?
No. I quit a long time ago, about
5 years ago.
4 years ago.
Oh,
4 years ago?
Yeah.
Really? I thought you were going
3
gym at
years.
some point with him.
No. That was about 3 to 4 years ago. Yeah. That's when I was on my workout regime.
Really?
Yeah. That's that long ago.
Is that when you went onto the ketone diet?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a long time ago. That's why. Look at the state of me.
But you don't look that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm wearing a lot of clothes. I'm bad right now.
From your own standards, you think
Yeah.
that you're bad.
I became what I despised.
Do you have cellulite on your legs?
No, I have no cellulite yet. Not yet. I'm not those levels yet.
How do you know? It's usually at the back. It's like posterior chain.
Nice, smooth. I touch them.
Yeah.
You do regular checks, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Not saying cellulite is, a bad thing.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have it. Cellulites are impossible to get rid of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't got to those levels, and that's the bit that I am going to end up. I don't know, man. Like, I have no desire of care right now. I see the benefits and the need to eat well, look after yourself. It's massive, and I know if I don't, I'm going to end up somewhere bad, health-wise.
Well,
So-
I think that's been the problem for you, isn't it? Like but
I've
you
done nothing about it.
No, you do. But you go on to this is the thing with Bablu.
I've known
It's
it for a long time, man.
all or nothing.
He's an all or nothing type of guy.
He is. He's an all or nothing type of guy. He'll go into this stupid diet.
You recommend
they're
one,
not
but
stupid. Okay, fine. I recommended it, but I wouldn't
Keto.
Oh,
ketone diet. And he thought he was going to die.
I had to take
He was my experiment.
Yeah, he recommended this crazy diet. You've heard of ketone diet,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
you just pure fat.
Yeah.
And the idea is you get rid of all your glucose and you use fat as your new source because you can't have both working off one another. You need one or the other.
Yeah.
And so you have to detox your body of glucose. And the way you do it is you just don't eat any carbs. You go 0 carbs
Yeah.
for about 2 days. And when you go for 0 carbs, you go for a fever state for 2 days. You shake, you puke, you can't sleep.
Wow.
So I missed work 2 days in a row.
Wow.
So all or nothing, right?
Yeah. And have you seen those programs of junkies trying to detox themselves?
Yeah.
It's basically like that.
Whoa.
You're
Like
shivering.
cold turkey.
Yeah, and you're shaking, and I get it
At
now.
one point, I remember you drinking coconut oil.
Yeah, just get my fat intake in.
But then when you switched over to ketone as your fuel source,
Yeah.
what was it like?
I was more awake, had more energy, felt more powerful, more smarter, just felt better.
Okay. So
I
why
didn't
didn't you
see-
stay on it then?
It was too difficult.
To stay on it?
Yeah. So with
You had
keto,
to pour coconut oil over cheese and then eat it.
That does not sound healthy, I'm sorry.
So, yeah. So the issue you had.
Well, that is there's a sorry, Bablu. There was this interesting. I can't quite remember who said it, but they say, you know, when the guidelines came along saying reduce your fat intake.
Yeah.
For some reason, there was since then there's been an increase
In
in
heart.
heart problems.
Yeah.
And some people think that it's linked to reduction of fat.
Yes.
Therefore, our bodies can't actually. Firstly, they may not. I mean, they're very amazing things. They will process it, but they probably won't process it as well as they would if they were on a high fat diet. The other thing is that because of that deficit, we're eating more sugars, which is causing other problems. Fats, you know, it's been converted to fats. Having said that, is also our lifestyle has changed. We've become more office-based monkeys.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the issue you've got with this diet is with a glucose diet, you could eat fat, your glucose level won't drop off. You still use glucose as your main source. With fat, if you consume more than a certain amount, say 60 grams or 70 grams of carbs, you come out of your ketone. So that's like 2 toasts. You come out of your ketone,
Wow.
and that ketone will take you a week to get into.
Oh, damn.
So 2 toasts will bring you completely out.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I had is when I had one of those, I came out my ketone and then I didn't know if I was back into it because I've already gone for the detox. I couldn't tell if I was in a ketone state or not. And it was just that switch in between. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
With glucose diet though, I think I shouldn't have done keto. I should have done I think what Abdi mentioned earlier on is do a glucose diet.
Yeah.
But with reduced calories. That's
Okay.
the way I should have done it. With high protein, reduced calories, I should have approached it. But I did something more difficult, which was beyond my capability. It's not, I don't think, from an Asian person, I don't think it's sustainable. No way. But a glucose diet with
Calorie restriction. Well,
is the way forward. That's the way I would do it next time.
Calorie restriction with modifying your normal intake of food, obviously eating healthier. But calorie restriction is by far one of the most important things that someone can do. And
That's
it's
really interesting because, you know, the whole thing about calorie restriction,
Yeah.
recently, I know like this is an area where recently, you know, a new
Yeah,
study has
yeah.
come out showing this or that, but calorie restriction has been shown to be like one of the worst methods to like get people to actually sustainably lose weight healthily and then stay with the weight off, as opposed to changing the quality of their food. Does that make sense?
I think it's probably how fast you do it as well.
Yes, I agree. I agree with
So
that
you
one.
know, it's you can't bulldoze it like Bablu's all or nothing. You know, reducing it bit by bit. And I would say, you know, the modification in your, for example, if I was to take Bablu, can I take you as an example? Okay, instead of having 4 packs of crisps, you know, reduce that down to 3 packs of crisps.
Yeah.
That will cut out something that is, you know, nutritionally poor,
Yeah.
and it will reduce your calories as well.
Yeah.
One might say, well, you know, what if someone wants to replace it? You know, you can, and then, but you know, carry on like that. I think it's important to carry on like
the
that.
issue
Because-
the
yeah.
issue that I had with calorie restriction is when I was doing originally I did a glucose diet with calorie restriction as well. Once you get to a certain amount of calories, which is 1600, which is optimal, the hunger kept coming in.
This
And
is it, yeah,
it's
this
the
is-
hunger that kept on.
Yeah.
1600 calories is more than enough for me to function.
Yeah.
But the hunger just wouldn't stop, and I did it for what?
Yeah.
About 8 weeks. Did that way. The hunger kept on coming and coming.
Well,
and
I
coming.
remember you done one.
But I did glucose and I
you
did
went to the
keto.
maintenance. You went to a maintenance calorie restriction thing.
Yeah, so I was on like
Wasn't it?
2, and I slowly, and you said, Bablu, drop it off. And
A
I
bit
kept
more
on-
so that you
Yeah,
can
I've got-
reduce the fat, right?
Yeah.
But 2 is you were comfortable at that.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, I
not
was really
gaining any weight.
I
think that's ideal for everyone. If someone doesn't want to, if they're comfortable, they just want a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
If they go down to 2-2, for example, Bablu, if he wanted a comfortable lifestyle, 2-2, that's his maintenance. That is how much he'll consume, and he can carry on with his normal activity at full functionality. Then that is the recommended.
So let me just back up what I was saying, because what I just said probably sounds like it's something to do with the psychological aspect of it, of like, I can't eat and I'm gonna give up on this diet and I'm gonna go back. The thing that these guys were talking about, I'll find it and then I'll give it to you so that you can actually assess it, because you've got a more scientific understanding than I do. But they were talking about it from the perspective of personalized medicine, and how each individual person reacts differently to different foods. There's like hormonal reasons why certain people get way fatter because of eating certain food than other people. You could eat 2,000 calories and I could eat 2,000 calories. We're both about the same height. It's going to have drastically different effects on us, right?
No.
Well, no, look at how lean he is. You said it earlier.
No. I agree and disagree there.
Go on.
So there is a study, I can't remember what the study is, but when you get to a certain percentage of body fat, you'll be burning the same amount as him. It's when I think it's below 10%, you could eat junk and you'll be burning the same as him. You'll be lean. So it's because we've got too much body fat, our metabolism is so slow, it's asleep. So when you get to about 10 to 9%, it's just like a furnace. It just burns anything you eat. So first of all, it's about getting to that percentage of body fat, and then you could eat kebabs.
Yeah.
And
how do you get it to that? Is that through physical activity?
Yeah, physical activity, dieting, but it's about getting there, and you'll get what he's getting. You'll have the same metabolism as him, or close to what he's got. But I think what we're using as an excuse is, at the start of it, he's got more of an advantage. For us to catch up, we have to get to 10% to have what he's got. So we can achieve what he's got. It's just a bit harder, and we can sustain it. But it's just trying to get to that 10% body fat where your body's automatically just burning like a furnace. And because I spoke to a few dietitians and bodybuilders, and they said, look, dude, the reason your body's not reacting, we need to get you to 10%. Then we can start putting you on higher calories. Because right now we have to restrict your calories for you to lose that weight. But to build muscle, we have to put you back on. I was like, but isn't it? You're telling me to. You're saying that if I eat too much now, I'm gonna be fat and muscly. But what you're telling me is when I lose all my weight, to eat more. So I'm now going back to what I'm doing. He said, no, we're gonna get you.
I think. Can I just one more thing here? So the other thing about the restricted calories is also the quality of the calories, right? So like a spoonful of sugar is going to have a certain number of calories, and a nut is going to have a certain number of calories.
The fat is how much is grams? Is it 3 grams?
But the nutrients in that nut and the nutrients in that sugar is going to be vastly different, and then also the way your liver processes it. So you can say like, oh, you eat 1,700 calories and you eat 1,700 calories, but this person's eating crisps and chocolates and they're just about hitting 1,700, and this person's eating fish and vegetables. What that does to their body is going to be vastly different as well. So that whole thing of just restricting calories, it's too. And then the other thing is like for each of our individual sizes, and like you said about the whole 10%, like you're burning fat at different rates, the number as like a blanket for the whole country, 2,000 is going to be, that's your thing. What I burned compared to like like my brother-in-law, like 6 foot something Eritrean guy whose body reacts differently to certain foods, might be more lactose intolerant, might be less, like all these things. So when I heard that from these guys who were talking about the personalized medicine approach to food, it made a lot of sense to me, because I was like, oh, that
that is ketone is exactly the ketone. When I went on the ketone, it had a different effect on me than glucose. I had double amount of energy, more brain power, because I was purely running on fat.
Sure.
And I can tell you right now.
Well, ketone is it wires you. So
your brain runs on fat, doesn't it?
Yeah. So no, your brain runs on glucose. Okay. So when there's a deficit of glucose, your brain cannot process fat.
So why was I so white?
So the fat is turned into ketones.
Oh, okay.
Hence why.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So those ketones wire the brain. So evolutionary, or as we adapted throughout the ages, when humans went into, the only time they will produce ketones is when they are starving. And in terms of survival of the species, it will be stupid to have a mechanism which will make that species become unproductive during the starvation period.
Sorry to interrupt one second. So on the evolution thing, what is I thought, because I thought you said about that Dr. Stephen thing about the evolution's not
meaning
a thing.
as we adapted
Oh, so that
as humans.
the adaptations happened as humans. Okay, sorry.
And that is
Okay.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
carry on.
sorry. As we adapted, or maybe it was there. That this mechanism. Let's leave evolution out. Let's say we have a mechanism, and this mechanism probably comes from the period where we didn't have Tesco's around the corner 24/7, and where we were hunter gatherers and we had to go and hunt for our food, and that mechanism
Tesco's
is
a bit of difference for you.
it's a massive difference, man.
That's where we hunt and gather.
So that mechanism, you need to have a mechanism which makes the species more alert. Otherwise, that species will die if it was to starve. Why do you need it more alert? So that it can go out hunting. It can.
I see what
more
you mean.
effective with
Ketone
hunting.
keeps you.
So it's a very clever mechanism in that
It's
sense.
amazing, man. Like
in that sense.
Zubair, you need to. It's something else.
But then again, even starving, for example, fasting, you have the same type of effects because you get the same effect. You have ketones being produced. Diabetics, type 1 diabetics, they start producing ketones as well.
Yeah, my sister did when
because
she was diabetic.
Yeah, because it's the body can't process glucose, so the glucose isn't going in. The body thinks you're not having any glucose, but the bloodstream is just flooded with glucose, and then the body starts producing ketones and makes you acidic, and people can die from. It's an emergency. The diabetic
Is it
emergency.
called ketoacidosis? Or
Ketoacidosis.
yeah. It's such an amazing mechanism, like that. Your body, if it runs out of this fuel, it could just start using that other fuel.
But this fuel is
Yeah.
superior, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
If you want to study for a lecture or you want to do a long journey somewhere, do a ketone diet because you'll never run out of energy. You are that wired.
So I mean that is what happens when you're fasting. Apart from you, that you become really really active and you can focus a lot more. Firstly, because when we get this slump after we eat, don't we? And that's a lot of the times because the blood is rushing to our gut.
Yeah.
Reducing
What is that process called anyway?
What's that? I
When
don't
is-
know what the process is called.
Okay.
the digestion bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
To digest, yeah.
Yeah, there's a name for it when you have massive amount of blood rushing to your stomach.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
word for it.
You've heard it before.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll look.
And therefore the body will always prioritize blood going to the brain. But it kind of there is a kind of a slump with that as well, and that's where sometimes people can feel.
Interesting thing though. So the gym trainer that I went to, so he,
sorry. It's called postprandial hypertension. Is that what it is?
I can't remember,
Right.
but if that's what it's describing, then
No,
Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways.
that's a condition.
interesting thing though. So the gym trainer, so this guy, he trains professional bodybuilders, and when I signed up to him, Adam, your friend Adam, went to him as well.
What's that?
Adam.
Yeah.
He went to the same trainer.
Okay.
And I said, I know Adam. He said, okay, I've trained this guy, Adam, and I put him on this many calories on this plan. And within this period, he got a six-pack.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume you're going to get exactly the same thing. So I went the same plan, same thing. Didn't get a six-pack.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
like him.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, can you figure out the shape of me and how I'm processing my food? Because he was on about 2,200. And he was shredding and his metabolism was high because he was already lean. He was already on low body fat. So he was muscling up and abs were popping out more, and he was just looking a lot better. And I did the same diet. I didn't put any weight. I looked the same. So, and then he,
But your workout was very complicated too.
it was non-stop. So it was no rest. It was just pure.
So this is, I mean, it's multidimensional. I think dieting and losing weight is multidimensional, but there is a trend, there is a kind of a process to it. And a lot of us, the reason I said calorie restriction, and then I do think modification of our diet is important. And reducing our calories through that, and as I gave the example of reducing the crisp packets, etc., reducing snacking maybe in some places, although snacking could be a good thing, I've forgotten what my point was.
about
I was
training.
narrating so much that I forgot what my
Just
point
about
was.
training. You were going on the.
Yeah, I mean, keeping stuff simple is very important. The more complicated, and I think that is where your kind of pitfall was. You made your diet things were so complicated. And I was, it didn't work. I told you at the beginning that I have a feeling that I had a feeling, I don't know if I told you, this ain't going to work.
It was working. I just
You gave up.
I gave up, yeah.
And I think that is the main thing. A lot of people, they
You
go
saw the
onto-
change and you were like, whoa, this is, remember I showed the
Yeah,
pictures?
it's good. But
it's not maintained.
I
What-
think
What was it? What was the thing? Was it the workout or was it the food?
It was a food.
Oh, okay.
The food is number one. I used to believe it's workout. I used to work like a dog. It's food. And food is 90%. I would say workout is... It's the food, man.
What was the food at the time?
Um,
Is this
so I was-
ketone or is this before that?
No, before that, so I switched over to ketone because I was lacking energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't survive on 16, 1700 calories. I
So
needed
what
more.
was the? So it was when you were on 1700.
Yeah, I was really struggling because I wasn't losing body fat. And to
Mm.
lose body fat, you have to reduce your calories. But when I was reducing my calories, I was more lethargic, more tired, more sleepy, getting cramps.
Yeah.
It wasn't productive for me. So I have suggested ketones. And my diet would start off with yogurt and fruits, or just eggs in the morning. And then later on in the afternoon, early morning or brunch, I would have chicken and broccoli. Then lunch, chicken and broccoli. Then I'd get
That's
home.
a really low carb.
Bloody-
Yeah, chicken
that
and
sounds
broccoli.
Sounds boring.
So boring.
Then I have a bag of nuts.
Yeah.
And then before I go to sleep, I have some yogurts and fruits or oatmeal. And no, there's a meal before that I used to have beef, just beef and veg or
You
beef
see,
and pasta.
as a clinician, I hate that type, that what you're describing to me.
Why?
Like, I even hate the ketone diet because you're just depriving yourself from foods that are essential. Carbohydrates is essential. Fat is essential. Protein is essential. Then you got all the other stuff that is essential. If you have, and this is why, modification of what you're eating is important. And when people start putting timelines on certain things, like everything, when you go on
Do you
to
understand why people do that?
motivate people, but the thing
No,
is,
no. You don't know why they do that, do you?
okay, fine. Why do they do it?
Because when they're not losing the weight, they can modify it. That's the reason. So like,
To test it.
Yeah,
Okay.
test it. So if you're doing this routine every day and you're not losing it, you tweak it. Am I losing it? No, you tweak this.
But that doesn't make
This-
sense then, innit? Like, it doesn't work. If that's the reason why they're doing it, it seems like it doesn't work. But to me, it sounds like, okay, they're
It's
just
easier
sending
to
it.
modify it. It's easy to know what's going on, what's causing you to feel tired, what's giving you more
But
energy.
someone's given you a diet with
No, no.
10 different aspects of it.
Yeah, but
It's
you
like-
modify it to yourself. My diet.
Like, none of these people are clinicians.
I know this is.
They're not
is,
dietitians either. So
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do
yeah,
they
no, I
know a
agree.
lot of...
This is what I meant with the Adam situation. He assumed me and Adam were the same body type, where I should be like him on
Yeah.
the same diet, and I didn't. I'm
Okay,
nothing
so
like him.
how? Okay, I mean, we're going on a tangent here,
Yeah.
but I want to explore this a little bit. So how? He said that after 10 weeks, you'd be like Adam, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what did he change after 10 weeks?
He reduced my calories.
That's
Just
it.
blanket.
Yeah,
reduce
yeah,
that,
yeah.
okay.
Take your calories out.
So there you go, then, innit? It's like there was no productive change to that. He didn't think, okay, maybe this food is, let's do that. He just reduced your calories.
Yeah, yeah.
So this
yeah.
is why I'm saying,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
So he added enough ideas.
I personally
no,
think
what-
I personally think that when people put time scales on things, especially things like this, it's just to
No, no,
sell
but
it.
the
or
reason-
it's just bogus.
Yeah, but the reason he gave it's not bogus because he came to that point because someone else achieved it in that time scale. So he had
Well,
the.
then it's still bogus.
But,
then,
but,
isn't
but, but
it?
he had
Because
some reasoning.
one other
Yeah, but that's
person.
still more than zero person. That's still.
But one other person, it's still bogus.
No, I mean, I still count that as some reason. There's enough evidence for him to say, okay, I've done it once, so let me try it again. It shouldn't work.
no.
For me,
He's
I'll tell
experimenting.
you what I find problematic, and this is purely based on like the doctors I've heard on podcasts. And one brilliant one I would highly recommend is, and I've told you about him before, is Dr. Peter Attia.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got a wicked podcast, and so he had this one doctor on his. So he's a doctor, and then he had another guy on who they were talking about South Asian people, and they were saying how it's just a fact. The way we process sugars and carbs is just different to, say, a white or African population, and what our body then does to that, like in terms of visceral fat, is and subcutaneous fat, like it's different to white and black people. And so when that guy is like saying to you about the calories and why it's working for Adam but it's not working for you, maybe it's just because he doesn't have a fully scientific background or a clinical background. But based on what these guys are saying, like these guys are getting to the level of, okay, you're Asian, that's going to play a different, like that's going to play a huge role in that 1700 calories. Let's actually break that down even more and look at what percentage of the calories are protein, what percentage of those calories are this.
And
that,
I agree, because at that point, when I realized this guy's lack of knowledge on diet, I
Yeah.
actually found someone else.
Okay.
And this guy wanted stupid money. He told me what was wrong, what I needed to do, and why it wasn't working.
He knew.
But he wanted stupid
But
money.
the thing is,
Okay.
that's happened to you so many times, isn't it?
I didn't
You've
go to that guy. I didn't go to that
no,
guy.
Meaning, like you've gone from one person to another person, and you've always told me, "Oh, this guy knows."
No,
And
but
it's
that's kind
you've
of
been
like
the same-
what it's like for most people, I think, because most people look
See-
online and they're like, "This looks like it's gonna work for me."
Hmm.
It's happened to me, and it's kind of because ultimately everyone's motivation is to improve themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's not like an evil motivation. So when they feel like they can get the answers now, they will be like, you kind of latch onto it. Like it happens
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me.
Should I tell you now?
I think so. Going back to my timeline, although it's a good thing, you know, it's being
Can I
smart.
just quickly finish
yeah.
off?
Yeah.
I'm skeptical now when someone tells me that.
Okay.
So I've learned my
Timeline.
lesson. Like general and skeptical when someone says I could do this with and this with you.
You'll
I'm
think
skeptical.
twice and research and
Yes,
yeah,
I'm more skeptical now.
Okay, go on up to what you say.
I think with the timeline thing, it's you know, you're misleading people.
It is,
You know, a
I
lot of the
agree.
times when you go onto like these workout websites, you'll notice 8 weeks, 10 week, 12 week
Oh my god,
workouts.
we all grew up with that, didn't we? 6-week plan.
Yeah. No, for me it was there was 12-week abs. There's literally a website called 12-week abs.
And this is probably why. This is probably where we're
But my
kind of
starting point was bad. I don't know how I was going to get abs in 12 weeks. They never tell you that at the start you should look like this.
and
not
you've already
like
got
this.
abs. You've already got abs.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think that probably that is where we're going wrong, because a lot of people want things very quickly, and they don't realize that to actually have a decent body, you need to train longer than Bablu ever trains.
But you
Right?
did some crazy workouts, huh?
He's done
yeah.
some crazy workouts. We've
I
all
think
done some crazy workouts.
continuously minimum a year of continuous workouts.
Yeah, minimum. I think minimum you'll start seeing changes which you might be happy with. But then again, you've seen people, you have to remember that some people, especially people who are bigger, will reduce and they will see differences a lot quicker.
With bigger muscle mass.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
No, meaning fatter.
Oh, okay.
Because they will reduce, that fat is unnatural and your body will just, you know, consume that fat very quickly. But I think going back to, you know, full circle back to calorie restriction, the way I mean calorie restriction is go back, you know, reduce the excessive eating that we do. And a lot of us, majority of us,
It's a
I would
culture,
say
bruv.
75%, 85% of us, we do excessively eat. And we excessively eating in a context where we're not moving around much. We're sitting down while we're working. We don't walk anywhere because we're driving everywhere, you know, and we're just Netflixing and chilling.
Shall I tell you, it's evident when you go abroad and you see everyone else, they're so slim. You know what I mean? You know, when I went to Morocco or go to Thailand, or you've been many countries, and
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
look so. Everyone's just slim.
Yeah.
So it kind of explains the environment we're currently living in, anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
it is.
We're comfortable.
It is a new world thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obesity is a new world thing, which is unfortunately spreading to, you know, developing countries where people are trying to embrace this lifestyle, which isn't really ideal, but it seems fancy.
Yeah. Bablu's just.
Bablu's
just been.
Oh my god, he's
He just ran off.
See how scared he was. Oh my god.
Hey, one thing I'll say is, you know, with me, so I'm not exactly like the super fittest, leanest person right now, but I'm definitely lighter than I was, and I'm stronger than I was. And the thing for me that's been key is, so I don't calorie restrict. I eat what I want, but I'll eat inside a certain time.
Yep.
I can eat whatever I want. But what ends up happening is, because you're like, okay, I've got this much time to eat, I want to eat something decent.
Yep.
And so, you know, the quality of what I'm eating
Yep.
is of like utmost concern now. It's like, if this is what I'm going to eat before 8, it's got to be good. I'm not eating something stupid. So that's one
But you're
thing.
not excessively eating, are you?
No, because of that,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
eating inside that window. But I can eat like the whole point of the one that I'm doing is you can eat what you want, and what I found is it's not made me it's not made me exhausted with like exercising, you know, like that brain exercise of you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't eat this,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm feeling
yeah.
hungry. I never feel hungry, alhamdulillah, most of the time, and I can eat what I want when I want, and knowing that having that mental freedom has just made it like, oh, okay, this is
So how did you? Because at one point you were quite chubby. You're like me. You're fat.
sure.
How did you come to this weight?
I'm
and been
still
able
pretty
to-
chubby, by the way,
Yeah, but you look
but
good.
slimmer than I was. Yeah,
You look
definitely.
good
Alhamdulillah.
for a father. You're a father,
Okay,
so
yeah.
you look very good. So how are you able to maintain and keep it like this?
So-
what made you restrict yourself from eating all that crap?
What motivated it?
Yeah, because I got children now. I'm more lazy now. But I just grab whatever I see and just
But
eat.
that happened
And I
before you had children, bruv. You've been like this.
No,
all the
no,
time.
I got excessively worse.
No, I think both of us, we had cycles, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
like times where we're super lean.
Oh, yes,
And then
yes,
times
sir.
where we kind of get a bit chubby, then lean, and then chubby. That's definitely happened to me, and I think.
Yeah,
that-
but you've maintained it for a while
so
now.
this time, I tell you, it's comes from a place of I saw. I'm going to say it. I saw my brother-in-law, so my wife's sister's husband, and he did his back in just playing with his child. And I was like, oh man, and he's young, bro. He's younger than under 40.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
just
yeah.
thought, you know what? Like, I want to still be able to play with my kids if I choose to have more kids as well.
Oh wow!
And if I start being weak, so it started off mainly from a strength point of view and
so
muscle.
my back's starting to hurt now. I'll be honest.
Yeah. So that was where the motivation came from.
Do those deadlifts, bruv.
But what I told myself is, okay, you're gonna start this journey of looking after yourself, but it's gonna be easy as AF, basically.
Okay.
Like if it becomes hard, you're gonna find another thing. So all I do is like 3-4 times a week, I'll go into the gym and I'll do just strength training. Like when I say strength training, I mean like 5x5 with 5-minute breaks. I'm just chilling in there. You know, sometimes I don't even break a sweat. I go in, do 5 reps of this weight of like at 80% maximum load, and then I'll rest for 5 minutes. I'm literally just sat there on my headphones listening to a podcast, enjoying myself, you know, enjoying some private time. It's very therapeutic, you know, it's proper just chilling. And then I'll come home from the gym and then I'll eat what I want to eat. But what I want to eat now has transitioned a bit more to healthy food. So I'll eat eggs, meat slices, vegetables, and then my next meal will be like rice and curry. If I want a burger or doner kebab here and there, I will eat it. I won't like stay
Stop
away
yourself,
from.
yes.
Yeah, but because of that super slow transition, I find myself nowadays like I'd rather eat something better. I'd rather eat a steak and vegetables than doner kebab and chips.
Wow.
Yeah, and steak, like just the thought of steak now just makes my mouth water.
Steak's so good.
Steak's so good, yeah, when it's done well as well. So that was the key for me, was just
Don't.
really sustainable, like nothing difficult. Even we've been talking about this recently, you know, so we're trying to like start some other stuff, and I'm saying to him, look bro, like I don't want to go in on it full on because I'll end up getting put off. And I've been doing so well just because it's been at that maintainable level. I think now it's probably time where I can level it up and it won't be too much of a leap. But it's all like a mind game where if I stay within a certain level of my exertion, then I can do it and I can keep it up.
But you are eating less than you were before.
I don't know if I'm eating that much less, but the quality of what I'm eating
Yeah,
is
it's
less.
different.
So I'm not
Yeah.
eating like, for example, before I might eat the same number of calories, but they'll be spread out in a very unnatural way. So a lot of it will be in the evening, and a lot of it will be crisps and chocolates when I'm watching a movie. So now I'll probably eat the same amount of calories, but it's stuff that's really good for you, and it's inside of a time that my body can actually handle it. So like one of the things I heard on this other podcast with this doctor called Dr. Sachin Panda, he was saying that, you know, like after a certain time, the way that your body, especially your liver, processes certain things is just completely different to earlier in the day. So when you eat is just as important as what you eat.
Yeah, I heard the opposite because I actually believe that, and I read up on that as well. And I'm more on the boat with Abdin. It's about calories in, calories out. That's what I believe. So if you eat 600 calories at 10 p.m. at night, it's gonna make no difference if you eat at 10 a.m. in the morning. So
No, so they
I
actually did
think-
studies and they
yeah.
found that it's huge difference.
Really? Because
Okay, imagine, it makes perfect sense. You're going to sleep after that. What is your
because
body
I
going
read
to
a
do with it?
study about 3 years ago, so I haven't read anything recent because I'm not dieting or anything.
Sure, yeah.
So this is. I would like to, if you could send me that podcast.
It's
about,
so interesting. You'll
because
love it.
I
You
didn't
know, I disagree with that. I
I'm-
think
I'm kind-
timing of calories is important.
Okay, you just said calories in, calories out. That's what you were saying.
Oh no, like in general, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is where you start.
Mm.
Like, you know, reducing your excessive calorie intake. You reduce anyone who, if they're excessively eating, if they reduce their calorie intake, they'll see differences straight away.
Yeah, but then again, doesn't that go against the whole thingy? What's that diet where you eat intermittent fasting, but you eat all your food in the night, don't you? You're eating after a certain period.
No.
No, it's in the day.
So
You eat
intermittent
everything in the
fasting.
day.
When I was doing intermittent fasting, yeah, it was during the day. So I would eat from 2:00 till
so-
about 6:00.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So or 8:00, whatever it was. How many hours was I doing?
I was doing 20 hours. Or
I was
18
doing
hours.
like 18 or 19
Fasting.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's during the day, and yeah, I mean you.
So if you're doing intermittent fasting for 18 hours, say, then your intake would be during the night as well.
No. During the night is the time you fast because it's easier.
Because you're asleep anyway.
You're
Yeah,
asleep anyway.
but I'm talking about if you're doing 18 to 20 hours.
Hmm.
you'll
Yeah.
be
So
eat-
you.
we sleep for what, 8 to 9 hours?
Yeah.
So during the night you will be eating then.
So from 8:00. So I was fasting from 8:00,
8 p.m. a.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
till about 2 o'clock the next day. 2 p.m. the next day.
So about what?
So I was doing no
6
eating during
hours.
the night time. No eating after 8 p.m.
So doesn't 2 a.m. count as night? No.
2 p.m. Next day 2 p.m.
Okay.
So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
So how many hours were
9,
you actually?
10, 11, 12.
So from 2 p.m. till 8 p.m., he was eating. The afternoon and early evening, that's when he was eating.
Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do
mean,
you know what?
it does.
I think for me, I really think the motivation of why we do these things is super important. You know, like the intention behind it. Because for me, like it was really easy to stick to it because I was thinking, oh man, like
Well, one thing I say about eating late, I do agree to a certain degree that it does have some type of effect. I don't know if it's mentally, but if I eat after 7,
yeah,
I feel shit in the morning. I feel more hungry
Yeah.
in the morning. I feel horrible.
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
eat
yeah,
before
yeah.
7, I'm absolutely fine. So
yeah,
me and my wife try to eat. We feel so much better after 7. Before
Yeah,
7.
me too.
I get it now. Like it's a Bengali culture. Like my family, especially, was Bengali culture to eat at 10 p.m. and stuff. So I always grew up with that idea. But eating from 7, I didn't realize a massive benefit. But those days when you want to eat junk food, you do eat about 9 and 10 o'clock, and you do feel like shit the next day.
Yeah.
And you're hungry, and you know you shouldn't have done that.
yeah.
But it does have
You know,
effect. I do agree.
when we talk about that, you know, in terms of timing and when certain things are produced, when I was doing my medical training, we give statins, which is a medication to control cholesterol. Whether it's effective is another thing, but a lot of the times we recommend that they take patients to take it during the nighttime, because you produce cholesterol overnight. So cholesterol comes from, so we say the low density lipoproteins, LDA. I can't say that acronym. Low density lipoproteins are bad for you. They're the ones that can go on to cause coronary artery disease and afterwards MIs. So if you're eating, if you look at that, if you're eating crap stuff, especially during the night, you know, you're most likely going to produce high amounts of low density lipoproteins. And not only that, you know, when during that time, and you know, in the northern hemisphere, maybe we need to really think about, actually, you know, is it just 8 o'clock or is it earlier, especially during the winter times?
Yeah.
You know, when we're producing melatonin, that hormone is just there. Is a hormone, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a hormone which just slows the body down. It's there to, you know, start, you know, calming the processes down. And it will make sense that one of those processes will be reduce the metabolism, because the metabolism, or reduce the processing of energy. Because there's, you know, another thing is,
It's interesting. There was a. You remember that fish that digs a hole and it lives in the ground?
No.
How have we gone to that?
No. What fish is it?
Google.
Is it the one that like other fish come by and then it jumps
No,
out?
no. So
Okay.
this,
I've seen that one.
This fish. So when the dry season comes out,
Yeah.
the pond completely dries out. It digs a hole,
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
and he lives
In the mud.
Yeah, yeah.
inside the hard ground.
Yeah.
And he completely slows down his metabolism to a point where he stops aging,
Oh wow.
and it just stops aging literally for a whole year.
Yeah.
And it just goes into that
Hibernation. Well, crocodiles do the same thing.
There's a certain shark that does it as well. It literally like because it's so deep.
Yeah.
And it has to just conserve energy. It just stops like when it's swimming, it's like it will flap its fin or tail, and then it will just glide along, and it just won't do anything. And then when it needs to again, then it will do a bit more. It's just.
But
so
I don't know how
slow.
many years. I think it could stay up to about 5. No. They do when it rains again, or about 5, 6, 7 years, they just freeze in time. Like literally, the whole body.
Wow.
Is that like I
That's
don't know
actually
what rate the metabolism. There's a video on it that when they were talking about what the rate the metabolism is, and people are trying to understand how to the aging process of humans compared to this,
Yeah.
and to trying to find new cures for the human body. It's just amazing. It just freezes and slows its breathing. Everything. It just 5, 6 years, bruv.
I would love to hibernate. I would love to.
I
I think
didn't
Bablu would like to hibernate too during the winter period.
It's not even
he does
hibernate.
hibernate.
No, because when I say it's not hibernate, it slows down the cells grow and everything. Everything just slows down. Everything to, slow motion. You need to watch that because it's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And what these Africans do is when the dry season comes out, they just randomly they get fresh fish out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just like that.
That's
That's
pretty
sick.
cool. That is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's like kind of defeated the point, hasn't it? Like, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to live
I
forever.
survive longer.
Oh damn.
I'm sorry for going on to that. When you talk about metabolism, that just came to my head because
No. That's
freezing
what, it's
fish that slows
crazy
down its
though,
metabolism
'cause
to a point where it stops aging.
You know what you just said reminded me of something that I heard. So they say metabolism is directly linked with like your process of aging as well. Like if it's important to have like a really healthy metabolism. Like your cells should be efficient and not like wasting energy and
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're aging, the process of aging, the simple process is we have a string of DNA, and that DNA gets replicated, and every time it gets replicated, it shortens. So we on the ends of our DNA, we have what's called telomeres, and we have this enzyme which kind of telomerase.
telomerase. Yeah.
Telomerase. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't believe
You know that gets made when you fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
pretty
crazy.
sick. And that will extend that part of the DNA. And those who know DNA replications will, know the process. But I don't think you need to know the
Sure.
process. Anyway, it lengthens that part. And that part is kind of DNA which doesn't code for things which are needed in the cell. I'm saying that quite cautiously because once upon a time we said there were junk DNA, and now we know that there's no such thing as junk DNA.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah,
has a
I read up on that, it's
purpose.
rubbish.
Anyway, telomeres have a process. And what happens is eventually these telomeres, the way that it's replicated, they are shortened anyway as well. And then it starts eating into the DNA. Hence why we get aging where our skin, one example is our skin starts sagging because the cells aren't plump enough. They're not created the way they were before when we had a full set of DNA. And, looking at that, you can extrapolate and you can see, and it makes sense that the enzymes that are used in metabolism must be affected. If the DNA is being eaten into, they must be affected.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I completely agree with that.
So what in terms of your workouts at the moment, what are you guys doing? I know you said you haven't done it in a long time, but you are still physically active. So what does that look like for you guys?
Me, my job's active as it is.
Oh yeah, he climbs ladders.
I'd assume.
I think that's the best way, isn't it? When your lifestyle is physically active anyway.
Yeah, it is. And the problem is though, I need to get into a habit because right now I've got children. I've got no pattern. I don't really know what I'm doing with my diet. I just eat wherever I find. I buy wherever I want.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of comfort food because I know my job's gonna be strenuous.
It'd be sick to have you back at the gym and training together.
Yeah, I need to find time because when I have the babies, I disappear.
Yeah, you had twins as well, man.
Yeah, you will not see me anywhere. It's hard to get me out.
Mm.
But I remember when we were training.
Well, what's your
We
workout
were.
look like, Abdin?
Leg day.
So
Just legs.
My legs day.
We should get him a T-shirt that says
Every
leg
day.
day every
Yeah.
day.
Leg day every 2 months.
No, I do a lot of leg.
Now, what I mean is, you go gym, you get excited, you go to the gym. It's like,
And
bam,
the
I'm going to
first
the
thing I
gym.
do is legs.
He goes to the gym, does legs day. He goes back 2 days in a row, does leg day. He doesn't go gym for about 2 months, then goes back to gym, does leg days for 2 days.
You got regular, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm nursing a few. I wouldn't say they're chronic injuries now.
Yeah.
So
The
I
knee
got
one.
knee one, and I got a
ACL.
What,
I know. I think it's
what makes you think it's chronic?
because it's been there for such a long time.
But
It's-
have you taken the steps to find a solution to get those resolved? Have you
yeah,
looked-
I've gone to physiotherapy and stuff
And
like
have you
that.
tried the what are those called again? The bone people. What are they called?
Osteopaths,
The ones that stretch out.
Chiropractor.
Chiropractors, yeah.
chiropractors. No, I don't think I'll go to one of those. Osteopaths, yeah, but maybe not chiropractors.
Why not chiropractor?
You don't think they're legit in it? There's a lot of people in the medical field who don't
Yeah,
think
because
they're
I met the other day. I met a runner.
Yeah.
So I had to go to his house, fix his line, and he just came from a running session. I said, "How many miles do you run?" He said, "Oh, when I was fitter, I was running about 30 odd miles a day."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's amazing. I'm like, so I was telling him about my football experience where I did an impact on my knee because I played too much impact sports from a young age, and my knees went.
Yeah.
So I was no longer to play that, and that was between the age of 15 to the age of 25. My knee went, and I said, "How long have you been running for?" He said, "Oh, I've been running for about 30 years." I said, "How's your knees?" "My knees are absolutely fine." I
Yeah.
said, "What are you doing for your knees to be fine?"
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm regularly going to a chiropractor and a physiotherapist."
I don't think it's that. I think it's what you were saying the other day.
It's how you run as well.
Because look at those guys.
I'll go
Yeah.
into this as well.
Yeah.
And he said it's down to your footwear, and also the way you run. So he
Yeah.
says his wife runs slightly differently, so she's got hip problems.
Yeah.
And I said, why does she run differently? Because she's twisted her ankle like me. So I don't know if my impact knee is because I ripped my ligaments in my ankle.
Yeah.
I walk like a penguin. I'm not sure if any of you guys ever seen it before.
I haven't.
You've seen it before.
We're gonna
And
look for it now.
Yeah, and he said the way his wife. So this is the reason she goes to chiropractor to readjust her hip, just to help less impact on her knee. And he highly recommends chiropractor. And guess how old this guy was?
How old?
So I said, how old? I said, oh, so you're what? You're 40? He said, no, I'm about 65.
What, he looked 40 to you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's amazing. And then he said there's something called the electric field. This is something else he was
my
going
God.
about. Imbalance. Electric
It's
imbalance.
to like mobile phones and
Yeah, no,
Wi-Fi and
electric
stuff.
balancing within the body. So
Yeah.
what he meant was how one body responds to another.
Yeah.
So have you ever come across a situation where
Sounds like a hippie, mate.
No. Do you know what? There's something to this. Can I tell you
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, go on.
Because I don't know if this is true or if it's anecdotal. I mean, if it's just something in my head. But I've noticed something really spooky happens to me. Is if I listen, if I use a Bluetooth speaker or even my wireless headphones, I start getting like headaches and stuff, or I feel a bit not 100%, and I wonder if something's going on. I don't know if I'm talking about the same thing, by the way, but I feel a bit off. And then when I'll detox, so I'll spend like a day or two not using them at all, like no Bluetooth speaker, no headphones with the wireless. So I'll use it with the wire, but not wirelessly, and I feel fine. But I don't know if it's in my head. Do you know what I mean? It could be like I'm imagining it.
Well, the thing is, we have so many neurons, and that's
so this is where
electrical
he was going through this
Yeah.
one. He said that so he said that the way we run is a big important thing, and he said the way the electrics in your body work.
Yeah.
So for instance, one leg will be given out slightly more power than the other leg.
Okay.
So it's in the imbalance of the electrics he was talking about, and he said
Okay,
it's
that
how the
makes
brain, it's how the nerves are wired, and trying to get them rebalanced again, and how quickly they respond to what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And he said chiropractor is one of the places where they help you with that as well. So he gave me his number, and I'm going to look into it because if that's going to make any bit of difference.
I
No,
think
because-
so. For me, it hasn't been sudden kind of injuries. It's been, when I was going MMA, it was slowly building up. And a lot of the times, especially when you're grappling, you're kind of, when you're in the guard position on the floor, you got your hips up and everything, and what can happen is your hips can get quite tight around here. So I got what's called an anterior pelvic tilt from that.
So when your bum sticks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hip is kind of tilted forward, and that's gone on to produce, cause problems with my knees, especially on my left hand side. Me being right handed, so my
Shout
right
out
side.
to Jeff Cavalier.
Jeff Cavalier is brilliant. I was going to go on to that
Yeah.
because I've seen physiotherapists. One of them said I got flat foot, so yeah, that could contribute to my knees. But it should do it on both sides. My hip here is tighter, and they gave me some exercises to do, which I was doing, and it wasn't really changing much. So the thing that is wrong with me is my hamstring at the back here is quite tight, and whenever I walk, it feels like it's going to pull. You know, before you pull a muscle, it gets really tight, but it doesn't pull. Okay, so it's really uncomfortable. So it's kind of pulling on my knees, and now I've got grinded knees, and I got patella problems as well. Because of that.
Recent. I haven't heard of these.
Yeah, this has just slowly
you had
because
the
I
hip
carried
issue
on
about 3
training.
years ago.
I carried on doing MMA. I remember I carried on doing MMA until I just couldn't do anything on my knee. And it was just sharp pains. I remember doing a circuit. We were doing a circuit, and I was like, I can't do this anymore because it's just too excruciating.
So what's the solution to?
Anyway, okay, so I'm starting to strengthen my glutes, and I've noticed that is helping a lot.
So where's your glutes?
So butt.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of pulling my pelvis back, and obviously giving more support to my hamstring. So you can do that with hip thrusts. You can do that with deadlifts as well. So those are the two main ones. The
question I've got now is: say that you do this, your body goes back to how it should be. If you stopped working out, will the problems come back?
So you work out obviously to fix it, but what's permanent? Permanent is posture. Fixing your posture. So you know, with stuff like this, it might be your core is just weak. So you know, you're kind of a little bit imbalanced, and this is probably where you know what this guy was talking about. Posture is such an important thing, and I understand. You know, my left side is my non-dominant side, and all my problems are on my left-hand side, and it's a double whammy, isn't it? If my posture is bad, it's not perfect.
So the chiropractor, I know you don't believe in it from the medical field, but it's something you should look into.
I look into that, but they just click bones into place, right?
Yeah, but there's no harm in to actually going because this guy said exactly the same thing as you said. I know a lot of you know medical people laugh it off, but for him it's worked. He runs 30 miles a day, man, and he's bloody 65.
I know osteopaths are good.
What's an osteopath?
So they are
bone specialist.
Yeah, I mean not bone specialists, but they you know look at posture and you know they know the mechanism or the way you know the angles of bones and stuff like that because that's important.
So at the moment, what's your workout look like? What are you doing? Like
so going back to what I'm doing is Jeff Cavalier's workout.
Yeah.
So he has one on YouTube, which is free. So I'm not doing everything. I'm doing the perfect. So he has videos of perfect chest workout, perfect.
Do you remember that workout where you want to improve your back posture and he showed you that pull up that no one else had to show you? You know that.
Oh yeah. He taught me how to do pull ups. And that's dramatically changed.
There's like a muscle in our back that no muscle book, no bodybuilder ever covers.
Yeah.
We've got this hidden muscle right in between our mid back.
Yeah.
And Jeff Cavalier tells you how to train that bit, and it just improves your posture and strength. It's a muscle that's ignored.
He's a
it's
guy
completely
He's
ignored.
so good. Like
I love how he just does his videos topless.
And you know what? The majority of the things that he has.
Yeah.
You dirty boy. Majority of the things that he has recommended, it's worked on me.
Yeah.
And that is why when I first listened to it, I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. And then I tried it because it got my knees and stuff got really bad. And then I tried. It's weird because every problem I have, I've typed it into Google. My last resort has been type it into Google.
Yeah.
And he's got some sort of video on it.
Yeah.
Which illustrates that a lot of people are probably suffering from these similar types of injuries, similar types of problems, because they are. For example, we used to just train our chests all the time, pumping.
You know what the biggest problem we had was because we didn't have these guys when we were growing up.
Yeah, with the knowledge.
We were just following these magazines, these YouTube videos, these workout regimes, do push-ups. sit-ups, lunges, not lunges,
12weekabs.com.
power lifts. All of these stuff weren't correctly shown to us.
Yeah.
And now we're realizing, damn,
Form is so important. Yeah.
we have been doing everything wrong for such a long time.
That's the thing, isn't it? Why do we have good? Why is form important? Because
It's
of
so
posture.
important.
Yeah.
Because of posture. If you're training something in an awkward posture, then you are going to damage something. You are going to hurt one of the muscles because you're moving it in a way that it's not supposed to be moving. And I think that I've been a victim.
We've all been there. We're all victims.
Trained in such a weird way. And a lot of the times, respect to the personal trainers out there on the gyms, but I see some of these personal trainers and I get really scared sometimes because they are training somebody in an
Interesting.
awkward way.
I met this a black guy. He's a young black guy, and he's a pretty strong black guy. He's like, I think he's only about 23, 24, and he was deadlifting over 200 kilos. Woo. And he was showing me, and I said, like, his body was overbuilt with the shoulders like that.
Triangular.
No. His shoulders were coming out like that. His posture was all off. And I was telling him, dude, your workout is wrong. Like, you're doing it wrong. Your body form should not be like this.
Yeah.
But he said, I'm doing it right. Watch my video. I'm deadlifting 200 kilos. I'm like, because he can lift 200 kilos, he thinks he's doing it right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he's going wrong. His posture was off. It looked like Abdin's posture. When Abdin's like shoulders were overdeveloped. But your shoulders were overdeveloped.
It wasn't my shoulders.
I think
It
that
my
was.
chest.
I think that
Was
was.
your chest?
I think
It
that
was
was
my
all
chest.
mindset.
Yeah, and I think...
He used to walk around like. He
So
was
if you
to
lift
get fight.
heavy, you are right, basically. That's the philosophy we all followed, didn't we? If
But
you're lifting right...
you know what? I've noticed that, after I start doing, I start looking, listening to Jeff Cavalier, and it's really, really simple. It's nothing hard. And that is the amazing thing about it. He makes it really, really simple for you. I've dramatically had to reduce my weights, and my ego took a hit, but it's incredible how quickly I gained that strength back up.
Yeah.
And
But now it's properly as well.
yeah, and properly. Like, let's take deadlifts for example, right? I was doing how much? 160. I'm a small guy. I was doing 160.
That's a
right?
lot for a deadlift.
Sorry.
His eyes nearly came out.
My eyes. No, that was
160.
no. That was squatting.
What was that
doing
squatting?
150 squatting. So I was doing 160, and then I started getting back pains. So what would happen? I would train, and then I just couldn't move. My back would just seize up. That I had to remember. I had to go
swing and lay back.
Yeah, swing, lay back, sit there like a turtle, rocking my legs up, back and forth, and then I dropped my weights. Even at 100 kgs, I was getting the same thing, right? And then Jeff, I watched a video where he was showing how to do it and etc., where you're pushing until the bar gets to your knees, and then you swing with your hip basically. So you just clench your butt and your hips will come forward. And when you're going down, you swing first, you sit back so your hips are moving first when it gets to your knees, and then you drop the weights. I've been doing that, and at the moment I'm at 120 kilograms, and I'm getting no pains.
But this is what I mean. Like, information is so readily available, but is it correctly given to us?
I think that's why you need to go to reputable places. And I honestly think, for me, Jeff Cavalier and I'm plugging his channel on this, Athlean X.
Yeah.
And I'm plugging it because it's a useful thing for those people who are training.
This is what I mean. Like, not everyone has that information available. This is what I'm talking about. We're lucky
Jeff
enough.
has so many.
No. But we're lucky enough to have like internet where people get that information.
Yep.
As I said, I've got this injury because of the way my form was, and when I went to my physiotherapy, you know what he said to me? I thought I had perfect form. My glutes were off, my calves were off, my hamstrings were off, my whole muscle development was completely off.
Yeah.
Everything I thought I was doing right was completely wrong.
Yeah.
And he said it would take me about a year to get my form completely back to right.
Oh damn.
Of physiotherapy.
That's another thing that I found helpful with Jeff Cavalier, where if you train a certain muscle, you should be training the opposite muscle as well. And that thing, that philosophy makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's the philosophy of balance, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is what I suffered from. I had imbalances and I still have imbalances. And, it just goes to show how, if you carry on going the way a majority of people at the gym right now are going, it'll take a lifetime to change those imbalances.
Yeah.
But you might not be able to change it.
Or
as
you
well.
might not be able to, because it's taken me ages to kind of, I hardly do my chest just so that I just think, okay, you know what,
I agree with him. I stopped doing chest. I only do machine chest as well at light weights.
Okay.
I mean, I'll do it. I do it now, but at one point I completely stopped because my neck was so bad, and even now my neck is quite bad.
The thing is though, these incredible workouts can be life changing effects, man. It can stop you from doing certain things.
Yeah.
It stopped me. It stopped me from doing MMA.
Yeah.
And then, now it's closed, but I could have had another year of training, and that would have given me a massive.
Have you seen how I do my squats now? You see my lean back squats, so just purely legs, no other. So when I do my squats, it's like this. So all the pressure's off the knee, off the thing, purely there and there. Takes all the joints out of the equation. It's just the muscles working.
So what you were saying the other day. This is the thing. Everyone says lean back on squats. You were saying when you're running, you should be running.
But running is different.
Okay.
Because you lean forward. When you're running, you lean forward. Therefore, you need to be on the ball.
Ball in your foot.
Yeah.
But Sterling doesn't lean forward when he runs.
Who?
Raheem Sterling.
Well, he leans back.
Yeah, with his ass like.
I don't know
He's
about
one of
him.
the fastest English player, and he runs.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
but
don't know,
the
that-
question is
he's
not
a
about his
football
speed.
player,
It's about what he's doing to his knees, though. That's the thing. That's different because the mechanism of running is different. Because with a squat, I'm not an expert, by the way, but
It's a completely different form.
it's a different form. Yeah, and by putting it on your heel, because of the where the weight is and
Yeah,
stuff, you're like what you just said. You're taking the weight.
yeah,
to
it's
the
on the
muscle.
heel only. You
Yeah.
don't use any.
Um,
It's 100 times harder, man. Like,
it's harder. Yeah.
yep. Before you could do 120, and when you try to do it the other way, you could just
Yeah.
about do 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, one of the things I don't know if it was who it was, but what I tried it as well is to put small weights underneath your heel.
Yeah, I've seen guys do that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it makes it easier to push down on
Easier
it.
to push
Ah,
down, and
I
it
know that.
balances out a bit more, so you can, you don't need to lean forward, and your
Yeah.
knees don't shoot out as well. I've tried it because of my hip.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to do it like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because of the tilt.
Yeah. Because then all the weight literally is on the heel, right?
It's on the heel, and it also kind of centers your hip as well. So this is another thing that a lot of us, and probably I was doing it, is when I would go up on a squat, I wasn't straightening my hip back up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of going down where my hip isn't straight.
Okay.
And I was standing diagonally or something like that. So in fact, this is again Jeff saying that when you start off, clench your butt, and that will just straighten up your hip. Go down like that, then come back up, clench your butt. So I've been kind of doing that. I mean, it has helped. I'm not saying that it's been perfect and it's completely changed my life, and it has changed my life, but my injuries are still there.
Yeah.
And I think that isn't because the workouts aren't effective. Is because I personally think is because the damage has already been
Okay.
caused.
Well, I think that's actually an interesting point to ask you this question before we wrap up then. Because you're working out still despite your injuries, right?
Yeah.
So why is working out so important then for you?
I think it feels good.
Is there any greater motivation beyond just it feels good for you?
I think for me now it's about that. I think it feels good, and I think that is very important for me, because it kind of dictates how the rest of my day goes, or how I wake up the next day, or how I feel about stuff. When I was younger, I just wanted to look good,
Yeah, it's crazy how it starts off with body image and aesthetics,
Yeah, it does,
and then it
doesn't it?
shifts to lifestyle and sort of well-being.
But above that,
Yeah.
above feeling good, is actually because of my injuries.
Oh, so you work out because of the
because of them,
injuries?
yeah.
Wow.
But his workout has changed though to what it used to be.
Yeah,
It's
it has
completely
com-
different.
it's completely
How
different,
long do
isn't
you normally spend for warming up?
I spend quite a long time, but I've reduced that now because it's just too much. So I do workout specific warm ups, and I just don't go that heavy. But when I think that I'm going to go heavy, I'll spend quite a long time warming up. But I'm very careful. I think I'm very careful and with what I'm doing, and very conscious of. I never work out till failure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm very conscious where my limits are. And some people say, well, you need to push through that. Well, I'll become stronger if I just carry on working on this. And then when my body allows me, I'll increase the weight. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that is where the difference is, because before it was like, I want to look good. I just wanted to push heavier weights because I thought heavier weights equals big pecs equals
More girls.
women.
Yeah.
You know, it was flipping meathead. But now it's more about, okay, what heavier weights equals injury.
Cool. Well, that light is flashing at us, which I think even the camera's sick of us talking. So shall we chill out and catch up another time? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you, boys. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Well,